Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Good to see you. We're skipping game 2 because it was a Katakuri versus Katakuri matchup. We all know how that goes. It is what it is, but my opponent just absolutely got the nuts out of life. Ended up getting so many Sanji blockers, and I was like, dude, how do I get through this? I had no removal, so my luck in drawing cards wasn't too spectacular, but yeah, yellow versus yellow, we're just going to skip over that. And we end up going into a yellow versus Nami matchup. I do roll a 2, so I'm like, all right, you can just choose. But he was like, oh, I'll roll just in case, and gets an 8 right there, chooses to go second. We draw into our first 5. It looked like a lot of big moms, and 10 drop is great, but it's not great until the end of the game. And by that point, I'm a little nervous about how many cards my opponent has in their deck left before it's, you know, a total wash. But I do enjoy seeing some Nami still in this set. I think that Nami is still going to be a threat, especially now that the play is going to be a little bit slower. So I think that Nami might actually have a really sweet spot in OP04, but we're just going to have to wait and see how it goes. And I do a mulligan into a ton of 2K counters, so I end up like just kind of screwing myself. I had like 10 or like 4 2K counters and like a Shirahoshi or something, and yeah, so I basically had no plays whatsoever. It was kind of rough, but you know, he's got the 2 Kayas to start, so he's got kind of the god start right there. Trashes a love beam as well as a death wink, and I try and keep a very good track of what my opponent is using and trashing in this matchup, because blue is, well, Nami in particular is really dependent on, you know, certain cards, and I draw a 10 drop Lin, so I have absolutely nothing that we can do. Like, I end up looking at my hand and going, okay, Strusen more than likely just to KO one of the Kayas, but I am just kind of thinking like, dang, what do I do here? And I look at his life, and the first one he's got is return. I can't remember what card it was, but it was like return a 2 cost or less to hand, so he would just get Kaya back. I put that to the bottom of his deck. I don't really bother looking at my life very much this game because it's kind of irrelevant. Yeah, it's kind of irrelevant to look at my own. And we do get the Strusen down to get rid of one of the Kayas, and I think I just go ahead and pass with 1 Dawn open though. I was planning on potentially playing the second Kaya, but then I thought about it and I was like, I might actually have to play Shirahoshi for 5 Dawn just to recycle this hand and potentially get something a little more useful, you know, in the hand to play next, the following turn. But with him going up to 4 Dawn here, we could see some form of bringing Kaya back to hand, but he just has another Kaya. So it is what it is. He's drawn into some really good cards here. Trash's Death Wink, so I think that's like the second Death Wink, if I'm not mistaken, being trashed right there. And then just looking at the last few cards, I think we end up getting a giant gavel out of that. And then Buggy looks at the top 5, picking up an Impel Down card. He is going to pick up Impel Down All-Stars. I know that he just wants that as some form of a card to trash very easily. And yeah, with 2 Dawn left, we could see like an Arbeck Brickfist, but he does use Daw's Bones to return, I think that was the giant gavel, back to hand. And it looks as though we picked up a Pudding. Pudding is something, at least. You know, I was like, man, maybe I can find a semi-useful card right now. And yeah, we pick up Parosparrow, and Parosparrow is going to be at least something to have on the board. The trouble with that card is it does fall into the range of Overheat. It's very easy to bounce back or to have returned, so it's like a 3 Dawn investment that just gets pretty easily taken care of. And I do choose to just leave his life at the top. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he ended up having like really good life. It was like two Sanji's Pilafs or something like that. but he does use Gavel here, going up to 9. Trashes another Deathwink, and then ends up just getting rid of the Impel Down All-Stars from hand. But we'll put down the Sparrow and pass it over. He's going up to 6 Dawn. It does feel like a lot of this match isn't really going my way right now, but we just gotta keep figuring out what we can do. And he decides to swing 6 into life here. I know I can excuse me, I know I can easily counter out, but I was like, man, I need to take a chance on potentially getting a trigger here. And we get pretty lucky. We get a Shirahoshi. The Shirahoshi allows us to recycle the hand a little bit. Unfortunately enough, though, we do pick up a bunch of counterless cards, or excuse me, counter cards, but we don't end up getting a lot of like playable cards. Now I choose to trash the Sparrow here, which I thought was pretty interesting. I'm just kind of saving a lot of the cards with counter in hand. I don't know, a little surprising to say the least, because I think that just having that body on board would have been really helpful, but it's okay. He passes it over now after playing the Belmir, and Belmir is a little bit of a threat just because, you know, if he's able to get a pretty big swing off, we could see 7 cards from the top of his deck being trashed. If I'm not mistaken as well, Belmir on KO is like trash the top 3 cards or 2 cards from your deck anyways. But we'll see a 5k swing coming down at life. He does take this. So I was a little surprised, but he does have the Sanji's Pilaf in there, just drawing 2 cards. And I take a look at his life and I start laughing because I'm pretty certain he has another Sanji's Pilaf in there. So swinging 7 here, with him having 1 Dawn active, I'm like, this has got to be like a joke right now. He's got another Sanji's Pilaf. And he does use it to draw 2 more cards, going up to like 6 in hand now. And I'm like, wow, man, this is brutal. I don't know what to do right now. But I just swing 5 with Pudding. Got to get something out of hand. He does use the Usopp's Rubber Band, trashes the Impel Down All-Stars. Really good trash for him too as well right there. And then I play another Sparrow and I just go ahead and pass. But him being up to 9 Dawn now, you know, being able to swing with Belmir here, potentially mulligan a lot of stuff. He does use 3 for Sanji's Pilaf, though, just to draw even more. And I'm like, all right, well, that's 3 of them gone. Hopefully the 4th one isn't in life, because this is brutal right now. Yeah, but the Belmir is a huge option, and I was very surprised by this. I think he just swings like 6k, potentially even 7k with Belmir, but we'll see a 6k swing coming with Nami. I do 2k out of this, and then we will see 2 with Buggy coming at the Pudding, and I'm like, yeah, there's no point in defending this, especially if we could potentially see a pretty big Belmir swing coming down the following turn. I just don't want to, yeah, I don't want to overreach, but he chooses to swing 6. I get a pretty easy 2k out of that, and he passes it over. I'm like, oh, all right, this actually isn't as bad as I thought. I was expecting like 7 where I got to get rid of 2 cards, or even a 9 where I have to get rid of 3, or I just take the hit and he gets to mill 7. So pretty brutal nonetheless, but we'll just go 7 with Sparrow here. We got nothing in hand to play. There's a whole bunch of nothing in our hand. We do have a 10-drop Big Mom, though, drawing into that. It's pretty nice. So, Giant Gavel trashing, I believe it was a Buggy, and getting 2 cards off the top as well. Finally, we see the 4th Sanji's Pilaf, which is nice. I'm like, okay, great. I don't have to deal with this anymore. And now we're not going at life. We're going at Belmir. I do choose to go 9 with Sparrow here. I don't have enough in hand to defend another swing from her and potentially allow my opponent to mill 7. So I just go ahead and swing 9, and then I'll swing 9 one more time, looking at his life, just laughing again, because I'm like, dude, your life is so good. Like, it's so good. I'm just going to leave it up top because whatever, man. Not much I can do here. I could put it to the bottom, but then he gets to bounce back Kaya, which can be, you know, even scarier. But he does take this 9k, going down to 1 life. And I was like, wow, this is interesting, you know. But I think that a lot of those Death Winks and Love Beams were added to the trash because of, you know, a lot of the milling as well as trashing with Kaya in the early stages of the game. And I think that that's helping me out in the later stages right now. So pretty happy with that. But we'll see Zeph, and he's going to bounce back a card. I would imagine more than likely it's going to be one of the Sparrows. I don't know. I feel like Zeph could bounce back. Oh, no, he bounced back one of his own Kayas. Excuse me. Bounced back a Kaya, and I'm just taking a look at his trash because I'm trying to get an idea of what we could potentially be seeing, what cards are left, how many of them, you know, he might have in hand or in the rest of the deck. So just trying to get a, you know, ballpark picture of, you know, what to be expecting for the following turns. And I know there's some people that are like, you know, do you really have to look at your opponent's trash? I mean, look, if you want to try and, you know, play as smart as possible, that's definitely, you know, a really nice tool that you can use to get an idea and paint a picture of what's potential to come. But the Kaya play does recycle the hand a little bit. He trashes Buggy, and I think it was like a Arbeck Brickfist or something like that. And I'm just counting how many cards he's got in the deck left, just because I know that. And I'm shaking. I'm like, oh god, no! I'm on a clock now, dude. I'm definitely on a clock. We will just 1k out of the 5k swing into Sparrow though, and he does use an Arbeck Brickfist, sending back one of my Sparrows to hand, which is a little unfortunate because he knows that I want to use 10 drop next turn more than likely. And in order for me to do that, it would have been great to have like 3 swings coming in after that. Now, a beautiful, beautiful top deck right here. We end up picking up Thunderbolt, and I think that Thunderbolt is going to help us tremendously against Zeph. I decide after picking that up to pivot from using 10 drop to just going for big swings into life. And yeah, we will see a counter out here. He's going to go up to 9 and then use a 2k counter with Gavel, trashing the top 2, which gets him even closer to that sweet spot. We're probably just going to go 9 again, or no, probably 10. Yeah, this will be 10k, and I think I look at his last life, forgetting which one he had, but I was like, oh yeah, that's right. And I just couldn't remember exactly what the card did itself that wasn't trigger. I think it's Gum Gum Rain, where you can just trash a card and +3, but he does return the Kaya. And then I will Thunderbolt the Zeph, getting rid of a 10 drop off of top of life and passing it over. I think that that really did save us though, because if he was able to get a Zeph swing off here, I don't know if we would have been able to. I'm not sure if we would have been able to do much in that situation. It would have been a really hard game to bounce back from. And but that's, you know, that's yellow. That's yellow. That's the world we live in. Yellow is just disgusting with the luck and just finding the right cards when you need them. And I'm excited to never play yellow again, hopefully. At least until set 5. I want to try out Enel, but at least in set 4, Katakuri has officially become my enemy. So I'm playing around, you know, what list do I want to run that plays well into that deck? And he's just thinking about his options here. We could probably see like a 7k swing. No, it looks like two 5s maybe into the Sparrow. I think it's pretty irrelevant if he doesn't have, he's got to have some form of blocker or like a crazy amount of counter cards. But he does just go into the Sparrow. I'll let it go. And with 2 Dawn active, I know that we've got this. So we pick up a Pudding. I can just slap everything onto Katakuri. And yeah, I just go 16 at life here. If he's got it, he's got it, you know. And he is able to get pretty high up there, though. He does do Gavel, trashing a Zeph, and that brings him up to 9. And then he will go another Gavel, I'm pretty certain. Or no, Desert Spada, bringing him up to 11 here. And then a Kaya to go to 13. But the 16k swing does go through. It looks as though he had about like 8 to 9 cards left. I think that Zeph mill would have helped him a lot. But Thunderbolt, just being able to get it was so good. Like we had a pretty rough time drawing into this match. I don't think we saw any of our mid-range characters or anything. Like no 4 cost, 5 cost, 6 cost, Sparrows, stuff like that. Yeah, But at the end, we take the win here. And now going into game 4. Hope you guys enjoyed though. Let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.